definitely was.
Yeah, but at least you get a chance here to see what goes on here because one of these teams could be coming back at you in the final. So,
Yep, it's
well,
definitely a possibility. It's a long, tough way, but maybe, who knows?
yeah, definitely is not going to be an easy road for these guys. But it looks like they already made their way right into the banning wave, and we should get right into that once again, guys. Um, Breaky's taking a little bit of a break today, so we'll be covering the footage for today and ignore the initial coming up screen that I put up there. It's going to be BMG versus Polymorph, and then following after that, Reason Gaming versus Complexity. But yeah, let's get right into it here. I'm not sure who banned who, because I had to clear out the chat window there. Do you want to kind of go over the bans real quick?
Yeah, I can go for them. Polymorph takes up Magnus first, which Fusion responds with the Lord Voice ban into War Beast, into Parasite. And then definitely nothing too out of the ordinary. I guess Magnus ban is something that you don't see too much. It's kind of a hero I think it's a hero that's picked the most of
Right.
all heroes, but at the same time, some heroes that just goes unpicked as well, or even makes it through to the second ban. So other times it's a first pick, so it's kind of the hero that's everywhere. Honestly,
It's true,
always
yeah.
good and never really that really top tier that just dominates as a last pick usually, but still strong hero.
Yeah, I am kind of surprised that we never see him banned. I mean, because you said he is picked almost every game. He's kind of like that character that lurks in the shadow, goes unnoticed, but everybody knows his potential and knows he's great stunner, huge initiator, and steam bath keeps him alive in the suicide. He's great tool to have on your team. But I'm also glad that Salforus has been banned. I think he was picked in 5 out of 6 matches yesterday. I was kind of getting a little sick of seeing it. I mean, he's a great hero, don't get me wrong, but I hate to see any one hero get too much screen time. You know what I mean? I like a little bit of diversity.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's a strong hero. I mean, just farms so much, deals a lot of damage, really very tanky, hard to really not pick it up. So here it goes banned at least.
and now that
And,
he's banned, maybe we got to worry about some Wild Soul action. I know that's one of the direct counters. Not gonna say anything just yet, but already we see a Mage Main picked up by Polymorph. So BMG's definitely gonna have to have some sort of answer to that.
yep. But at the same time, also is weak against Lodestone, so maybe that's not gonna happen. But Mage Bane always one of the heroes that can win you the game, uh, even if you're up against a better team per se. If you feel that way, so very strong hero. Not saying that
Right.
Polymorph is like a lot worse or anything than BMG. I'm just saying that Mage Bane very strong hero and a lot of capabilities for it. So what we
Yeah.
did yesterday was to try and shut it down at the same time as have our own carry farm ahead of it with 100, maybe even 200 GPM, which is very hard to do, but sometimes you can be effective with that and then win the game from there. Because Mage Bane is a hero that thrives of being that much more farmed than your opponents because it flash farms so quickly.
Right.
But if you can keep up with him, he will not just solo carry the game, and he's not that threat. So if you can manage to do that, but it's definitely hard.
Yeah.
Deadlift a very strong support as well for him. And the Lodestone, good follow-up initiate. The Mage Bane blinks onto the heroes hit by Lodestone ulti. It doesn't take more than 3-4 hits to take them down.
Yeah, we've seen time and time again how big Lodestone Shatterstorm ability can be in these matchups. It can completely turn around a fight, take a hero who's like super farmed and make him actually a killable target. So I am definitely liking the draft already coming out by X. I mean, it shows that they mean business. There's no gimmicks here. I mean, these are 3 strong heroes. And at the same time, Bad Monkey Gaming, though. I mean, we've seen Valkyrie played a little bit more recently, whether it's in like a secondary carry or almost transitioning into like a full carry. And she has that potential. And Andro Pebbles, great stunners, and then negative armor from Andro, too. So they got a little bit of a good draft coming up so far. It's really pretty even.
Yeah, it is. I think the team that picks Valkyrie the most. For most other teams, it's kind of niche pick, but they really love it. Valkyrie and Drummer have a very strong combo as well. And we were kind of worried about giving them Pebbles as well, because Pebbles is a hero that can really take over the early game and set the tone of how the mid game is gonna look like if he gets that fire and portal key with a good start. So to me, it looks like they're gonna man up, have Pebbles mid with a support, and then maybe another support Valkyrie bottom. And if they have to tri lane, they'll do that against the Mage Bane. So Polymorph has to kind of try and outlane BMG here. I'm not sure. Definitely interesting to see Cthulhuphant, because that probably means it's not in the jungle. It has to be farming in some kind of lane, maybe a suicide bottom, and then Mage Bane goes mid or something. I have no idea what they want, but they already have the deadlift, and he's
Yeah.
probably also he can lane, but it's not the strongest. We see them right click the Limited Shaman. This is definitely a strong combo with the onslaught, and then you heal bomb on top. That can deal a lot of damage.
Yeah, Disham is a hero again that's not used too much, but I'm a big fan of him, and we talked about him last time we casted actually that the hero has a lot of potential. So if that does come to be, I mean that'd be looking like a pretty strong lineup. I'd say they might be a little short on what I like consider reliable stuns because all three of their stuns can miss the trample, the death grip, and the rocket drill. But at the same time, later once they get sheeps and stuff from portal keys, then it's much easier for Cthulhu and Lodestone to land their stuns. So, but yeah, other than that, it could be something fierce. I know Deadlift used to be a great laner before a couple of changes to his abilities.
Yeah,
I somewhat remember him going 1v2 in Suicides and TMM and just like destroying.
definitely. Also, another note is Demented Shaman with the Cthulhu was usually a lane in the past that was really, really strong, kind of uncontested. If Elephant hit that trample, you could heal bomb on top as well. So there's that synergy with that hero as well. The problem is Demented Shaman got nerfed from that point, so he only heals 2 targets at level 1, not 3. So you lose out on 100 damage or so, and he doesn't heal more target. Now it's 2-2-3-4, which was a big nerf from what it was in the past. And I think that was because of the Cthulhu being so strong in lane with that combo.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, the heal bombs were really insane early in the game, and that'll definitely slow things down a bit, especially in the current meta. Support heroes, it takes them forever to get level 7, so I don't know. It's it's going to be somewhat less effective.
Yeah, they pick up the Witch Slayer, and that's kind of defensive early. I mean, the early game, it's kind of support that wants to get the pole open and start pulling some creeps and get his levels from there, and then start being active. Because the hero it has a stun, but it's only 1 second stun for 60 damage, and that's not the most powerful, and it costs a lot of mana too for the hero. So, it's not the best support early on, but if you can get those levels from the pole from top lane, if you're in the 2 versus 1 situation, I think it's better. And, they go with the Gemini again, so BMG really loves the Gemini. They picked it yesterday too, and here they go. It's kind of hero that we haven't seen a lot, and now they bring it back to the scene here.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely interesting to see him. He was a little bit, successful, and they definitely hung in that game a lot longer than I thought they were going to. I mean, it really was a back and forth, but I'm glad to see new heroes entering the scene as well, and Witch Slayer as well. Again, a hero that we don't see very often, and like you were pointing out, 170 mana for that level 1 stun. That's a lot. It's almost half your pool at that point. But at the same time, if he can get levels like you said, he brings damage to the table, which a lot of players don't. And he's going to be like a secondary support on Witch Slayer, right? Because
I think so, yeah.
It's being played by Insania.
Yeah. AK Darth slapped here. Come in. So what I'm really worried about though for Polymorph is if they can just not feed early on, I think they can be in a really good spot with the Mage Bane farm, but they have to not feed for a long time, honestly, because they have 5 stun heroes on Hellborne side, and that's really deadly and really hard to avoid getting killed if you just get hit by one of those stuns. So it's gonna be tough for them because they have a lot of damage from Hellborne, and on Legion they kind of need that Mage Bane to get farmed before they really have damage to dish out. I mean, Cthulhu deals it over a long time. With Valkyrie, it's hard to hit a lot of. Gemini can kind of sidestep it too and get out of there with the Twin Fangs. So a bit hard for them to burst down a target on Legion compared to Hellborne. They have a lot of burst.
It's going to be really tricky to set up ganks, at least until they get their portal keys. So like you said, if early game is what's the most important thing for Hex to start off with, they've got their work ahead of them. And Hellborne team, I mean, and they got to make a decision too. Do they put their attention onto Pebbles? Like you said, if he gets out of control, then he can just take over a mid-game, early game completely by himself. Yeah. So is that the ticket maybe to make sure that if they win at least one lane, that it's that Pebbles lane?
Yeah. I think the way they can get ahead is if the Demented Shaman gets a good start and maxes out that heal in a relatively quick time, and then can make some heal bomb ganks with Cthulhu and with the deadlift. I think it's the only way they can burst and kill people in time. I mean, it looks really rough on paper, this lineup to pull off against BMG. Because of all those stunts, it's going to be an uphill battle for sure.
certainly will be. But if they do tend to make this into the middle and late game, it's going to be a
Yeah.
fairly even matchup. I mean, you have the somewhat of a dual core carry lineup for Hellborne, and then supports that offer a lot of extra damage and armor reduction. And on the Legion side, it's more of that all-in on Mage Bane, but at the same time, really strong supporting cast with good push potential. So, I mean, I think if Polymorph had it their way, they'd be pushing towers super early with D-Sham and Deadlift and just try to take over that way. But
They definitely can. And they have to watch out for the Valkyrie ultimate as well. Bring some rare voids. But at the same time, Magebank wants to farm and not push early on. But maybe they can do some pushes with 4 heroes. But it's gonna be tough because BMG is gonna be 5, and Magebank doesn't deal that much damage or anything early on.
right.
So they're gonna be in a 4 versus 5 situation against 5 stun heroes basically. And I mean, it's tough, but maybe they can do some kind of split push and kind of outplay BMG in terms of keeping BMG on their heels and not knowing where to be at which time with 5 heroes. Kind of stress them a bit. That could be an option.
I think they're gonna have to do something like that to keep to make sure that they get this. Because again, I'm noticing that Hellborne didn't run a jungler. BMG was notorious for being one of the few teams that didn't run junglers. So the laning phase is going to be that much more difficult. You think they're going to try lane it?
BMG, I think they're gonna do the dual short with Witchley and Gemini, and then they're gonna Andro into Pebbles mid lane. That's my assumption, and then Valkyrie's gonna go bottom. But if Magebane is bottom, then they're gonna rotate their supports. That's what I believe.
Okay. So shutting down the Mage Bane would be BMG's ultimate goal?
I think so. Also because the other heroes can kind of do fine on their own. Pebbles is gonna farm just fine against Elephant mid or Lodestone mid, or even the Deadlift. I think the same thing with Balthazar up top. He's gonna recover eventually, even if he has a little bit of a rough start. I mean, if they try and shut down Balthazar, then Boxy's gonna do wonders. The same with the marker in the mid game and kind of make space for him that way. So I think they're set up pretty good, and their supports can do a lot of rotations here.
Huh. Yeah, so quite a long pause here. I mean, this is going past the point of discussing their laning phase. I think there might actually be something going on here.
Oh, there could be. Usually, all the game pause is that laning phase discussion, but yeah, as Inflin is pointing out here, you're actually only allowed to pause for 5 minutes early on.
It's kind of a good rule. I like that rule. I'm used to it. I think everybody in the community is used to it. I don't know what it is, but Heroes of New Earth has always been riddled with pauses throughout its competitive lifespan. But usually if the game's in the midst, we've got a little bit more to talk about here, but I'm just really antsy to get this one started here, so.
Yep. I don't think anyone has actually said what we're waiting for here, but hopefully they can get it fixed, whatever it is, soon here. It's probably not a strat pause, because if you get pressured like this, it's probably because there's something wrong, technically.
Yes, technical issues can be debilitating, as we've seen with the overlay issues already. And let's see here. This is lovely. I never know whether to just let it go or to kind of clear chat, but these guys are pretty good with keeping it respectable in all chat. Being with what's at stake here, I mean, tempers will flare. This is a trip to Thailand on the line for these guys. There's no double losers bracket, so.
I'm kind of usually laughing at it. I don't think there's too much into these teams.
Right.
I think it's just fun, all of it.
Yeah.
99% sure. Maybe yesterday between Mint and Cole, there was a little bit of more drama there, and actually made the game a bit more exciting between those teams. But I don't think there's that here.
You got to see that series too? That 2-hour epic cinematic start of game 1 and then all the way to game 3, man. It was.
I think it finished at 8 p.m. CET, and we were
yeah.
expected to play
you had
21,
to wait.
so we had to wait after. And we're like, oh my god, please.
Yeah, that's
typical complexity. We were thinking always so many passes and stuff, and starting late, all that stuff. But yeah, I mean the games were good. I would have to give them that. was an intense game there.
First game was good. It got a little bit crazy at how passive each team was playing, but again, nobody wants to be the team to take a jump and make a mistake because you know, at this level of play, at that point in the game, all it takes is one mistake and the game is over. I think both teams knew that, so sometimes it's unfortunate, but luckily the game eventually ended and we had a team progress, and that was meant to the winners bracket finals against you guys next weekend. So that should be awesome, and so should these loser bracket matches as well. But finally the game is underway, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get it home.
I will say, if this is gonna be a solo Gemini up top against solo Elephant, I think Elephant was a hero we saw usually in the suicide lane a while ago, but then it got nerfed after. But it's really good against melee heroes because of that hook him, damaging them over time. It's kind of a little bit like Bramble, which of course we cannot pick in tournament play. So the hero's still too good and needs a couple of changes, I think. But it's really strong because you deal damage to them without actually auto-attacking them. And it's hard to zone him out because of that ability. So he was pretty good up there.
Yeah, and he just grabs over the Hellborne's hard camp. Though I've seen Complexity playing against the Cthulhu Font, and they actually blocked their own camp just to prevent him from doing that.
It's a pretty good way to try and shut him down as well. Usually, Elephant is gonna struggle against something like a ranged hero there, like Silhouette or Corrupted Disciple even. So
yeah, where he absolutely needs it.
Yeah, but it looks like BMG is actually gonna safe lane trialing the Pebbles, so they're really making a point to shut down the Cthulhu Font. But I will say that if he sees 3 heroes up here, he can really just go his own jungle and try and share it with Deadlift, because I don't think Deadlift empties all 5 camps in 1 minute either way. So he can probably take a big camp here and there and maybe sit mid for maybe a potential kill with the Lodestone onto Gemini.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised to see one of these heroes eventually abandon top lane too, if that's the case, or if not both. So I mean, it's going to be a constant rotation game right now, till lanes kind of get felt out a little bit.
Definitely, but they do have the Mage Bane to basically free farm down here. The Menace Shaman is gonna go and zone the Valkyrie now, so Mage Bane is gonna have a good time, and that's really all that Polymorph can ask against an aggressive team like this.
Yep, and you did call these lanes to a T, so we'll have to see if they bring maybe Andro or Witchslayer down here to help Valkyrie. Wouldn't be a bad idea, but yeah, already D-Sham getting off to a good start. Double stacking that pull camp. And top lane, we see a rotation. Witchslayer's going to be porting down to the bottom lane.
Yep.
This is why the people love you, man. Insight on point. Oh, Valkyrie's going to catch a pretty big arrow on a D-Sham. And then the Q-stun coming out from Witchslayer. We got a Bloodlust already 1 minute into the game. Don't think they expected that rotation coming out so early. So BMG meaning business here. And top lane too, they're going to turn on to Cthulhu Font, though he is pretty tanky. Though they do have a level 2 Pebbles. Just not enough mana for that toss, or...
I think he had it, but he simply has too much HP. I don't think he actually wanted to use the stun either, but kind of misjudged the situation there. Usually when you use one stun, it takes a long time to get the combo up again for when you hit level 3, level 4.
Yep.
But yeah, good bait from Elephant, I guess.
Yeah, he's back to full health already. Had one of those health potions pulled to him, so that'll be a pretty decent start. And then once he gets to level 2, he's a lot harder to kill. And he'll have Hook 'em and Trample, so...
Bottom.
It is. We see Deadlift rotating on the jungle for the first time this game. Valkyrie's actually going to leap, and she's going to get caught in the Death Grasp. Oh, but Mage Bane not wanting to blink in. He's really too low to commit and would likely be punished. So he will eventually fall back. Only misses a creep or two, but it's good to see Legion team getting counter-aggressive here as well.
I'd like to see King Nick here pick up the the Onslaught to really... If you lands the Q and then manages to hit that on a target, then D-Sham can really use that heal bomb to full effect, and they can burst down a target. So look to see him pick that up here soon. But I like that Deadlift is actually sitting here and trying to zone a bit, just making space for Mage Bane, because they are using he is blocking 2 heroes time in Valkyrie and Witchslayer. So
Yeah, and deadlift too. I mean, I think if there's any heroes that can fall a little bit behind, here we go. As we say, this Valkyrie is under pressure here, but she falls back. I think it's okay if deadlift it falls behind a little bit compared to heroes. And again, top lane Cthulhuphant somehow got way out of position there. I think he just went up to hook a creep, and then they just stun locked him until he died.
Yeah, well played. This is kind of the start you don't want to see if you're a polymorph. That Pebble's getting a bloodlust kill, or not a bloodlust, but getting a kill up there and having a good time with the free farm on top of kills. So he has to be really careful not to feed any more kills, because that blink is gonna come really early then.
Yeah, and there's gonna be that looming threat where if you're not, even if you're not dying left and right, we just see the impact that has, where players have to play so much more cautiously, use their wards defensively, stuff like that, and that can really slow down your game. So hopefully, once we get a couple of maybe level 6 lodestone, we can have some rotations and try to set something up on the Pebbles to hinder him a little bit.
Yep.
Andromeda already level 4 too. I mean, that's high. That's pretty high level for Fusen.
Yeah, I've been watching Fusion a bit here, also on replays, as just to scout on my match, and he's doing a really good job. See what he's doing here, pulling the second camp. He's also doing that as Legion, where you can actually pull a third camp, and he's really started to master this, where you can just pull a hard camp and actually kind of farm as a weak jungler, almost as fast. You can really farm fast if you're allowed to do this uncontested. So he's level 5 right here. He did get a kill up top on the elephant, but he's gonna do really well and almost be level 6 to set up kills with swap even. If you get it this early on, you can really use it to kill. You set up kills instead of just sit behind heroes to save them.
Right, and he's already level 5. That's amazing. I mean, that's a very important skill to have. We're gonna have a pretty big rotation here into middle lane. Cthulhuphant and Deadlift trying to set something up on Gemini, but yeah, there you go. I mean, 3 of the 4 heroes on this team with escape methods. Whether it's Pebbles just being able to stalactites and get away, or leaping, it's going to be hard to set up ganks on them.
Yeah, definitely. Also, I think Demented Shaman, he skilled the Unbreakable first to try and survive the not giving out the Bloodlust, but he still doesn't have the healing wave, and I hope he really picks it up and start maxing it here level 3, 4, 5. That's really the combo with the Cthulhuphant, with the deadlift, so kind of needs that. But hopefully he's gonna pick it up soon. Yeah. BMG taking an early lead here in this game.
Yeah, they're gonna have to do something, because the experience lead right now is insane. Andromeda just passed out Mage Bane and XP per minute.
Yeah,
and it's the same kind of across the board in terms of gold too. It's just BMG's still like one step ahead, and the early game being so important for them, I think that something kind of maybe have to change here. Maybe.
Yeah, but it's just they don't have the heroes that can really gank and get them ahead like that. I mean, they do have Lodestone level 6, so probably mid is the best place to set up ganks. But as soon as he uses that Q, Gemini is going to press W at the same time, so it's very hard to gank. At the same time with the Trample, I mean, it takes time for that to hit, so Gemini also has potential to W away from that. They really don't have much. The Death Grip too takes time to go underway, and the Gemini is going to be fine. We saw that as a gank in mid before. And the same if you try to gank a Valkyrie, you can also just leave away from stuff. So it's very hard to succeed in these ganks. We see Deadlift being bottom so much of the time, but it's really unsuccessful.
Yeah.
And, good positioning from Insania, because he's really the target they can get. And as I say that, he might die.
He is in a little bit of trouble here. The Immobilized will not interrupt the TP, but it will be enough damage to burst him down. At the same time, they picked off Balthazar in mid.
Cast curse, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And Gemini too, you're like, Gemini, as soon as the rocket drill comes out, he just W. He fell somehow.
Yeah,
well, perfect that, staggering the stun. Did you catch it? Okay.
No, I did not. But I mean, this is what they needed though. They're still a bit behind, but this gives a bit momentum, and finally some ganks succeed for them. They even out on 2-2 here in hero kills, so that's good for them.
Absolutely, evening it up a little bit, and the gold lead and experience lead still slightly in favor of BMG, but a great start. The only downside really is, I mean, Pebbles is going uncontested up top here. He's begun to pressure the top tower, and if there's no reaction, I mean, it's gonna fall here 6 minutes into the game.
Yeah, Very early tower push.
Middle lane, a rocket drill coming out here. They're chasing down the Gemini. No mana for the Shatterstorm. Oh wait, the Shatterstorm was already queued up. So Gemini will take heavy fire here and force rotations in the middle lane. Andromeda joining the party here, but yeah, don't want to get too close, as there's still quite a bit of Legion heroes here. But they get the top tower at least, and Pebbles of only 400 gold away, 500 from his PK now.
Yep, 500 it seems like. So really good start for him. But I think this might be the time where Gemini starts moving top, and then Pebbles starts to take over the mid lane or even roam, and then they try and ignore that, and then they safe farm the Gemini. But looks like he's gonna go mid here for the time being.
D-Sham taking big damage down bottom. Didn't get the Unbreakable off, so he will fall down here. Yeah. Just a lot of damage, and he's already got 1 point into the miniaturization on Witchslayer, so that's just so much CC coming out and ways to set up a big arrow.
Yeah. The thing I don't like about support Witchslayer is when you hit level 11 and you level up that Solar Bullet to level 2, if you don't have any stat-giving items that gives intelligence, you actually don't have mana to stun, miniaturize, and ulti. So that's kind of the issue with here. So I like that he's trying to go power drain here, just keeping the miniaturize at the moment at level 1, so it doesn't cost that much mana. But that's the issue with Witchslayer. He really gets out of mana really quick and only has 1 stun in fights, or 2 stuns and no ultimate.
Yeah, I mean, all of his abilities, like you said, they just cost so much mana. And it makes sense to balance the hero because he has mana drain. Yeah, there's some action here. They're going to get a nice little stun off on the Witchslayer, prevent him from hitting that level 6 point. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense to balance him with that, but in the competitive game, it's difficult. It's difficult to get full use out of him. There goes the portal key, and Legion team's got to be a little careful here.
Looks like they're grouping up here now, but yeah, as you said, the portal key here, so this could be disaster for them. Potentially, but good fallback though. Yeah. Good heads up, honestly, because Pebbles is not top, so they expect, okay, Pebbles is missing. What is he doing? Probably has the blink. We gave him a kill. He took the tower top, lasted at that, so he probably has the blink, and that's a good heads up play.
He's gonna rotate down here into the jungle where he will likely find a kill, but he's diving pretty deep here to get it. And there goes the stun combo. So exactly. They get the D-Sham, but now he's in a pretty dangerous position. The rocket drill comes out. A beautiful swap from Andromeda. Kind of giving herself up as a sacrificial lamb to save Pebbles, and I guess it was worth it in the end.
Yeah, I think Poxy actually blinked on top of his own position where the Pebbles or the D-Sham was. I think he just had the blink ready to go on whoever he saw, so a little bit of a misplay there.
Oh, I see.
Actually blinking on top instead of comboing and then blinking
away. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. He could have escaped in the...
Yeah, but he blinked on top of himself there, where D-Sham actually also was, and Andrew has to sacrifice himself. So worthy exchange for Polymorph, and now they definitely know Pebbles has to blink. So level 4 for level 6.
Nice job here. Uh-oh, they're going back and forth with the stuns. Who will get the refreshment rune? Oh, Witchslayer wins the battle of attrition here. Yeah, I mean, that's a big part of it. At least now that they know the portal key's out there, I mean, whether they had a good idea that it was ready or not, it's out there. And, uh-oh, big arrow, and it does connect. Pebbles coming out with the toss and the follow-up stun, setting up the easy, quick double tap here before really anybody can even react and port down here. So that's going to be a 5-man group up here bottom as well, leading into the push. We see that so often by Boxy. I mean... he never not go for the double stun.
Yeah. I mean, if you can go for the big play, kind of safe play as well, then go for it for sure. Get the double stun, double kill instead of just bursting down one target. Low stun is invis here, so they might look to turn this.
His ult's up in 1 second, so see if they go. He throws on the rocket drill, but he hasn't channeled Shatterstorm yet. Nice blinks, dodge the stun there. And Magebane will do his best to collapse onto the Pebbles. A Mana Rift could do massive damage here, but damn, didn't get it off. Pebbles gets away.
I think they played a little bit too scared there, but I understand that he wants to farm the cleaver and not take too many risks. So, yeah, a bit unfortunate that they couldn't get up there.
I'm surprised Lodestone didn't start with a Shatterstorm either. I mean, there's a lot of ways to interrupt it, but he would have hit it for sure.
Yeah. Maybe you can get the 9 mid here. Yep, good job.
And Magebane will fall to Witchslayer Gemini, and he had enough mana that time for the silver bullet, and he gets credit for the kill too.
Yeah, the little one silver bullet only 200 mana, so you can definitely afford that one.
Mid lane 2 Unbreakable going out onto Lodestone, and it's enough to prevent Hellborne from over aggressing in this situation. Even when it looks like Valkyrie's completely out of mana, she still has enough to leap. 40 mana cost.
Yep, definitely. This is what I'm talking about early on, that they have so much damage, so much burst. Doesn't even have to be Pebbles. The support Witchlayer, Bladed Greaves and a mana battery is just almost soloing the Magebane. Of course, a little bit of assistance from Gemini, but he didn't have to deal that much damage for Witchlayer to kill him, so they have so many heroes that can burst down the Magebane and make the life hard for him.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. Taking a good lead here so far.
Yeah, and this is what they had to do to win, because the more and more I look at it too, I mean, Magebane, if he were to get up there and farmed, I mean, that magic armor from Flash would definitely come in handy against this team. There's a ton of magic damage. I mean, there's a good balance, but it would definitely be useful.
Yep. The only problem is they simply have too much damage, I think. Witchlayer, ulti, Pebbles combo. Valkyrie has a lot of damage with the spells too. About 600. Andrew also has a bit there with the, of course, the passive, the Aurora adding up, and Witchlayer too, about 800 magic damage too. I mean, Gemini as well, so really a lot of damage coming out. So it might not matter that small amount of flash that or the armor gives. Oh, I missed that one.
Just Disham walking right into a Valkyrio, and then Deadlift walking into a 3-man party in the Legion side jungle here. Make it a 5-man party. Hellborne team's really taking over here. Fusen's getting that aggressive ward down in the jungle now, and really, I mean, Legion team can't even farm their own jungle. This is going to be pretty bad for them.
Yeah.
Pebble's going to find Cthulhuphon here. He's able to tank quite a bit with that hook. But eventually, I mean, he's going to fall here.
Yeah. It's what I will say about BMG is they're really good at utilizing their voids to full effect. We saw the bottom one where they got the Pebbles double combo, a good void from Fusen, spotting out that, setting up the arrow into the combo. And here again, with another void here, setting up the kill. I think it was the Deadlift, and then puts up another one, sees the elephant farming. So they're really utilizing their aggressive voids well and putting up the pressure. And the Meta Shaman gets caught once more.
Whoops. Alright, so I mean, at this point it's kind of like do or die. I mean, they're forcing Legion team to group up. And one thing I noticed that Complexity will do, I mean, if they're against a hero like Deadwood or Pebbles who gets an early portal key, they'll tend to group up, 3 here, 2 there, and maybe a lot of competitive teams do. I just noticed that they do it especially well. Making those gank heroes not as effective because they really can't gank you if you're not alone. But I mean, at this point, I think they'll take you if you're 2.
Yeah. This is it's looking really tough for Legion, but it is a tough lineup to pull off, and then it goes back to the draft here.
It's these escape mechanisms for Hellborne team. Another, initiation by Lodestone, which normally would have connected and been a free kill, but Valkyrie just leaps away and gets out, and they waste all the time they spent rotating in mid there, and it's just huge. Failed ganks is like the #1 killer of gank lineups. I mean, it's such a negative if you don't get that kill, especially in competitive when every player is farming non-stop. Every second they're doing something with purpose. So, time is super important.
Definitely.
As obvious as that sounds.
Yeah. No, but you're right. I mean, especially in competitive, I mean, people are really efficient here. I think these are the most efficient people on the scene, right? So, you have to make every second count. And here comes the Valkyrie ultimate.
She will walk right through King Nikkei's ward. Okay, but in the bottom lane too, I see. D-Sham's going to get spotted out. Valkyrie walked right through a Rev ward, but you see the team was, I mean, Lodestone Cthulhuphon didn't even want to go onto her. They kind of had a chance to jump, but bottom lane here. Another pick off onto Deadlift.
Yeah, the KS bullet coming out. Good stuff. So they're feeling really confident here on BMG's side, as they should. I mean, really good draft and good execution. Offensive team here against Polymorph.
Yeah, I'm sad we don't get to. I mean, I don't think we're gonna get to see this go too late in the game where we'll see that standoff between Gemini and Magebane. But I mean, you can't take it away from BMG. They laned it perfect. They weren't happy with the lanes in the beginning. They rotated Witch Slayer down, and that just started the momentum that led to this 10,000 gold lead right now.
Yep.
And didn't shut down the Pebbles for Hex. I mean, the things they think they could have done that might have helped them deal with this. But again, even if not the Pebbles, there's just so much damage coming out, and Fusen doing a hell of a job getting that early level 6.
Definitely, it's good. Good job pulling up there. It's really effective, honestly. He almost has an astrolabe too, so they're also getting a lot of team items. They have the plated greaves on Legion so far. Magebane still working on the cleaver. Lodestone almost has the blink, so maybe he can do something with that. A huge ultimate. We'll have to wait and see. But I think at this point, for them to come back, they need Pebbles to fail his initiation and Gemini to fail as well, jump in, and then they somehow get Lodestone ulti 2 or 3 heroes. With enough heroes on Legion surviving to really turn it. So it's looking rough. They need BMG to misplay at this point.
Yep. Oh, we've seen it happen. So, I mean, absolutely. If they were somehow, BMG clumps up, I think they have enough damage between Lodestone and Cthulhu Font to get a couple of pickoffs. But it would be a massive mistake here. And I mean, I don't even think I've seen Legion really attempt to stack and take their Ancients at all this game either. I mean, I can understand they're kind of flustered. They got other things on their mind, like not dying, but at the same time, that could have been the portal key could have been done on Lodestone. They could have been working on Cthulhu Fonts. So
yeah, to really kill them, triple stack Ancient, they need to bring at least 3 heroes, I think, until Magebane has the cleaver. He can't kill them before. And even when he gets them, he needs a bit of support. So they don't really have the best heroes to kill them, like I said, Forest or Wild Soul or anything. So I think that's why they haven't done it. It's pretty far away from safety at this point. That's why I think they're not stacking them now, because Magebane is closing in on the cleaver.
True. Last thing you want is to give it to the Hellborne team.
Yeah. Then again, it could be a good place to bait a fight. I mean, a clutch narrow space there sets up a Lodestone ultimate and a good trample from Cthulhu Font.
That is true. A Hellborne team managed to use the Valkyrie Prism here to try to set them up in a decent position, and it looks like they will find Cthulhu Font here. Can Andromeda get the comment? Oh, Pebbles will initiate first. They use the Silver Bullet, and there we go. No swap necessary. Now they will have. Here we go. It's a nice Shatterstorm connecting and huge initiation there, instantly taking out both support heroes. But here comes the real party. Gemini joining the fun, activating his ultimate 5-second Valkyrie onto that small creep. Legion team going to be forced to fall back here. Pebbles going to try to finish off Deadlift here. Deadlift tried to do something, keep him in tower range. He did hold Valkyrie in place just a bit. She will leap out and be safe, and she already has the Geometer's Bane. Didn't even have to use it in that fight.
No, that was actually a really good execution. Polymorph. The problem is they're just so far behind that even in a numbers advantage, they can't deal with the other 3 heroes coming in to clean them up after they kill the 2 supports from Hellborne. So that's a good initiation from Tomstad, but it's just a little bit too late, unfortunately. PNG has stuck himself or put himself in a really good position. So
I was wondering how Andrew got stuck to, wow, Witch Slayer had a tablet. And they pushed them together, and they both got, like, wrecked.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I mean, Magebane is pretty good against Witch Slayer after he uses all his abilities. As I said before, the hero uses a lot of mana, so it definitely breaks or gives opportunity for a huge mana rift, as we saw. Yeah. Had Magebane survived that, you could almost say it could have been okay for them, but unfortunately he was not going to. So, but he does pick up the cleaver now, so at least that's a good sign for them.
Yeah.
Just don't activating ulti here.
Oh, he is going to find Andromeda here with the Shatter Storm, and he will one-shot. And hey,
What?
it's a support kill, but that's a level 9 Andromeda, so he'll take that.
I guess they had a void on their own hill, which just expired, because to me it looked like that was in the dark, but good kill there. That's what they need.
You're
A
right.
little bit momentum. It's not the worst for BMG, it's just a support Andro, but I mean, gives some momentum for them, and that's good.
Yep.
And they get the D ward, so the jungle is a bit more secure. Not sure what Deadlift is doing so far up near their tier 2, but tier 1. But he does get picked off there by Maka and Voxy.
Oh, unfortunate. And I think that, yeah, I mean, BMG, they've got the lead right now. They got to know that they're up, you know, being up 11 kills. But at the same time, keeping the pressure up is pretty important here, right? They just picked up the Rune Cleaver, and they're getting a kill here or there, showing a little bit of signs of life, and they haven't given up. So definitely was looking to see them take out this bottom tower in the mid tier 2 and just further choke out Polymorph here.
Yeah, I think right now it's fine that they do it kind of slowly, get some pick-offs into tower kills. I think that's the way to go about it. They probably need a couple more items on Gemini. Valkyrie does have Jump this bait, but she's sitting on 3,000 gold, so if she buys something else here, I think they're good to go high ground, kill the Conqueror, and get the token onto maybe Gemini, and then have him siege, or the Valkyrie even.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, at this point, it's probably really greedy, but the lead they have, I would probably be like, just grab a shield breaker, bro. Three-shot these guys.
Yep, makes sense. They have, I mean, Dishan 4 armor. Deadlift has 10, I guess. Gufulofan 7, Mage Bane 7, Lodestone 6. After he uses his ulti, of course, he has 0. So, shield breaker is a good item, especially this early. But the route he went yesterday was a lot of agility item. Into the wing bow, into I think it was Genjiro, so.
Yeah, he picked up the Shroud. So there you have it, keeping up that
I was really happy they did that yesterday. I mean, imagine if they picked up something like the Spike Bowler or something to stop a Clanks or anything, but instead they picked up a couple Shrouds and Genjiros, which kind of waste of gold, I think. It's not that great. You have ulti, or you have Invis ultimate, so I have no
up
idea
against a Prism, so
I can see here where they're kind of 90% they've won the game, so doesn't matter too much.
Pop off Cthulhu fine. Yeah, it's like and here it's fine, but like you said, I mean, if you already have the Valkyrie Prism, the team's aware of invisible ganks, and now they're just going to buy that much more Revelation to deal with, and
it's not going to succeed in the gank at all, so it's just, you know, getaway mobility, I guess, he values. They are sieging, and this is really tough for them. I guess Lodestone can set up an ultimate, but Insania put a word of sight down that they have not countered. So they see this initiation.
Right, and I thought that got spotted out, but apparently not. Lodestone's going to get the brunt of that initiation. D-Sham doing what he can, but level 1 Unbreakable won't get the job done. He's going to be, well, we have a buyback. No, he does not have the money for it, so mid-barracks will fall here. BMG just taking it cool, calm, collected, like you said. No need to go crazy here. I mean, they're feeling confident. Speaking of going crazy, Pebble's going to dive in, get tableted right back over. And that's 2 tablets on the Hellborne team now. There's so much mobility here.
Yeah. I mean, Mage Bane is, of course, not pointing back. But, I mean, at this point, if you lose 2 racks right here, it's game over. So they have to just try and hope for the best. I guess they need the Lodestone. But, yeah, it's not looking great for them.
I'm honestly gonna say, I mean, Hellborne team, the draft on paper didn't look as good as they played it this game. I mean, yeah, they had a lot of stuns and damage, which is really important, but I didn't feel like there was a great team synergy there. I felt maybe a lot of single target damage, but I mean, they just played it perfectly.
Yeah, it's just a lot better than Legions. I mean, as we talked about, good escapes. It's hard for Legions to gank anyone. At the same time, they can't get any turn kills either. I mean, they don't have good fighting team.
Their stuns are kind of lackluster too. I
exactly.
mean, a Magnus would catch a Valkyrie before she can leap, not like
exactly. The team around Mage Bane is just not effective enough, unfortunately. Like, he doesn't have space. They just got outdrafted this game. I mean, it can happen to everyone. That sometimes, you know, you don't win the draft and you gotta go from there and make the best of it. But yeah, it's getting to the point where you should focus on the next game, for sure. Try and think it over. What do we do against this aggressive style of BMG?
Right. Take into account, that they're likely not going to run a jungler again. They're going to have extremely strong lanes. So get something that can actually deal with that, or at least be able to group up and set things up after a laning phase. But I mean, there's just so much gold right now. Yeah, like I said, it's time to focus on the next game. And Hellborne doing a good job of actually, keeping the pressure up. They're not just AFK farming for another 20k gold, so that's respectable. As a spectator, anyways.
Yep. Well, I mean, if they wait 15 minutes, the game might look different, because then Magebane has 2 or 3 more items, so there's really no point in doing that. They should just go. I mean, what can Canadian really do? They have a Blink on Cthulhu and a Lodestone, but they can't really do much more. They still have the token Gemini for about a minute.
And they will sit him up here on the front lines. So many illusions again, like we saw in the other game. Just going to take out the barracks really quickly here. Pebbles setting up an initiation, double stun on a deadlift, and Magebane blinking right into the thick of it, actually, is going to die here. Kind of going all in. Lodestone will fall again. Don't know if the Shatterstorm even went off.
No, it hit 3 people. It's just
It
not
did.
enough.
Magebane with the dieback here. And yeah, Polymorph going to call out the concede vote, and that's going to wrap up game 1 for you guys. BMG kind of just rocking in the house a little bit too hard there for Polymorph to deal with.
Yep. Nice offensive strategy there. It definitely worked, but I think Polymorph at the same time need to focus more in the early lanes and think about, we need something that can really contest these kind of offensive dual lanes, or even tri lanes, and try and match up against it, so we have a chance going into the mid game, getting on a laner phase in a good spot. I mean, they didn't even use the D-Sham combo with Deadlift or Elephant. I think that was maybe their way of winning one lane at least. So instead they had D-Sham with the Magebane, who actually just got first blooded. So unfortunate events there for them, but hopefully they can bring it up here.
Yeah, it is crazy how bad a Bloodlust can throw you off, but there was a lot of different mistakes that game. So hopefully, this is a best of 3. If they can somehow make a comeback here, they still got a fighting chance. And I want to see them improve on the draft here and see what they can bring to it. So coming up for you guys in just a few minutes, Polymorph fighting for their life in the tournament here. HTS4 Season 4 Playoffs. We're going to go to a short break, so stay tuned, guys.